Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, girlfriend.
So today we're wrapping up season 4, and I've been really excited. I mean, first of all, I'm in awe that you and I have completed 4
Woo, woo,
seasons of a podcast that we invented out of thin air based on our friendship and mutual adoration for each other.
woo.
Hot damn.
Hot damn, we are doing the thing.
Yeah, I just want to like high five you because 4 seasons heading into the 5th just feels very real. We're
Yeah.
starting to find our voice.
Yes.
I think this was my favorite season so far.
Mm.
And so I know I have some notes about my favorite episodes. I thought, we thought it was your idea that we would just talk about our 3 favorites.
Yes.
So would you want to go first with what's your favorite?
Ooh, absolutely. And shout out to us for just like keeping this going. There's something so fun about doing it with a partner. So yay. And if anyone out there is listening, if we can do it, you can do it too. So we're all about, amplifying women's voices. So
Well, you said something that I think is
mm,
key, and that could be what's blocking so many girlfriends from doing this too,
mm,
because there's so much research that says that almost everybody has a book, a blog, a podcast in them.
yeah.
But most people are too afraid to take that, even that first step, or they'll
Yeah.
take that first step and they do nothing with it.
Yes,
It
sure.
sits on the shelf, stinking the joint up. And so I think there's something about doing it together. And I
Oh,
think that
yeah.
was the secret because I feel accountable to you because I love and trust and respect you so
Yep.
much.
Yep.
I do not want to be the weak link.
No, I feel like every Monday morning, no matter the tiredness or no matter whatever is going on, we show up and we do show up 100% for each other. So yes, accountability really makes a big
And we
difference.
share the work,
And we share the work and we've
right?
got a good
I
communication.
think we're into a good system of that. I feel like we're processing a little bit because, but maybe that's part of it. Maybe
Yeah.
that's part of what has made these 4 seasons so successful
Yeah.
for us. I mean, some episodes have done crazy great, and some are
Mhm.
just kind of like crickets.
Mm.
But we're learning what our girlfriends are wanting from us, what they want to hear.
Yes, that's right. And I think we're getting it dialed in. So I love that. Okay, well, I'm going to go first with right off the bat, one of my favorite highlights was the interview, What the Fuck Happened to My Body?
Oh yeah, Natalie Garay.
Natalie Garay.
Shout out to Natalie.
Shout out to Natalie Garay, dancer, Pilates instructor, holistic health practitioner in the making. She just had so much wisdom about what happens to us as we age, especially if we've given birth, and how that can impact us years down the road, how there might be an injury that we don't even feel for a long time, and that so few of us actually get really good rehabilitation after
Mm,
giving birth,
right.
and that it's not too late. So, what I loved about that was, I feel like there's so many messages for women, especially around birth, which is your body's going to change, your body's going to have some issues, and you just have to kind of accept it. And her whole attitude is like, you can heal, you can be proactive, you can do all the things. So she just felt so body positive, and um, I just thought that that whole episode was lovely, and our rapport with her was great, and she just gave out so much great free advice around things like pelvic floor, incontinence issues, a lot. She went there. We went there.
We went there and she normalized it.
She normalized it.
She normalized it. And the way she's done all this research, and it also highlights that it's very recent
Yes.
that science and doctors and hormone specialists and all the people are starting to look at the female form
Yes.
and our chemistry and what's happening and what's going on down there, and
Yes.
that there is life after 50. And I think she went and found the information. She has 3 daughters, and she was like,
Mhm.
hell to the no, I'm going to leave things better for them than
Yes.
I found it.
Yes.
And she's taking all of us with her.
Hmm.
So I highly recommend that you go check out Natalie. Of course, we'll link to her again down below because she's doing incredible work.
She is.
And she's soon to be Dr. Natalie.
Yes, she is. So that was a wonderful one. That's my first. How about you? What is your first?
My first favorite was the Taylor Swift. We came out swinging for season 4, and I had a lot of concerns for our girl Taylor. I felt like I was bringing this big sister energy, And just some warnings, I will tell you that a few weeks out, I am more concerned than ever about
Mm.
just about that guy Travis. I'm sure he's a lot of fun.
Mm.
My concern and my intuition is more about the future.
Mm.
Once he's not swinging from the rafters anymore and everyone's calling him up like, "Hey, be in my commercial. Hey, do this." I am concerned about who he will be outside of his personal stardom.
Yes.
That's my concern. I'm just gonna say it. I'm also sending love because I don't want any badness for
Mhm.
anybody, let
Mhm.
alone someone as powerful and incredible as Taylor.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, so it's still there. I mean, how did that land for you a few
I
weeks out? What do you
I
think?
I loved it because I think what it brought in for us was this big sister auntie energy with what we can see and what maybe with a little more experience under our belts, we could kind of like predict and just whether or not we're right about it, just the concerns and
Mm,
raising the concerns for our younger ladies, which is a good reminder for if there's a way we can do that with like the people in our lives, in our circle. If there's an opportunity, um, how can we say that to people who we love and care for if we see them, getting into some tricky waters? And that's a very touchy subject, obviously. But I thought I thought we brought really great big sister auntie energy to that
mm,
episode. And yeah, it is concerning. I mean, this is one of the most powerful women in the world right now.
mhm.
Right? So I love that you had that protective instinct for her and we shall see.
We shall see
We
because
shall
she
see.
is powerful. She's going to do what she's going to do. And just like, we'll touch on this later, but like those letters we wrote to our younger selves,
Yes.
right? She's at this really beautiful stage, she's what, in her mid 30s,
Mm.
and feeling herself and
Mhm.
finding herself.
Mhm.
And, um, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful adventure. And she's going to write some banging songs,
Regardless, we
no
know
matter what
we know
happens.
she's going to get some great material out of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was a really, really great one. My second highlight is the turning 50 episode for yours truly. Just happened. It was such an honor to get to process that on a podcast with one of my besties. And honestly, y'all, it's a complicated episode. I had very complicated issues. I really opened up about it, even more so, honestly, than I anticipated doing. But I'm really glad I did
Mm,
because that was really where I was. It's interesting, even a couple weeks now since turning 50, I feel so much more resigned and calm and footed about it, but I was going through it. And so to kind of live out loud and to do that as an exercise with everybody felt really, really good. I think that's going to be an episode that I will go back to on occasion to listen to and to feel into. And I think for anyone who does have mixed feelings about wishing a happy-ish birthday, right?
mm.
As I said, might want to check that one out for themselves or for someone else in their life.
Mhm. I so appreciate and respect that you did that and you brought it
Yeah.
and you were so real because that's been touching the hearts of our girlfriends. We got a
Mm.
lot of great feedback about that and like the realness,
Yes.
and I think that you brought a lot of heart and intention to that conversation. You were very much yourself, which speaks to the healing nature of the work that you and I are already doing together, and then to share it with our girlfriends on a larger stage and bring everyone forward with us. There's something very powerful about
Mhm.
that.
I want to be more vulnerable. That's one of my goals
Mm,
in life right now, is just to allow myself to be vulnerable. I think there's so much bravery around that in really, really being authentic and honest, right?
mhm.
And I felt comfortable with what I shared, but I did share how mixed I felt about it. And yeah, it might resonate for you.
Yeah, well, and you did something that our culture does not really facilitate and foster and celebrate, which is A, having complicated feelings.
100%.
Women of a certain age saying anything out loud at all.
Right. Right. No kidding.
And giving yourself permission to be celebrated.
Mhm.
Also, since we recorded that, we had your 50th birthday
It was
party, which
beautiful.
was fabulous, and so much, also such a beautiful expression of who you are.
Yes,
And
and
so,
you loved me up so much. Thank you for helping
yeah.
facilitate that and having that be such a really, really memorable night for me. It
Mm,
was really a beautiful time. So thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
It was really great to celebrate you.
I feel like I got all my jitters out. So by the time the party rolled around, I was like, I'm receiving, I'm here, I'm feeling it.
You were a guest at your own
I
party, and I
was.
really wanted that for you.
I really felt that way. I really
I
felt
don't
that
want
way.
to decide when the cake is fixed.
No.
That was well done.
Thank you, honey.
Well done.
Yeah.
You make 50 look good.
Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling really good right now.
I
Yeah.
love that. Well, mine, this kind of feeds into my next
Mm.
favorite one, which was about how to be a queen in
Oh,
your life. Our girl Jessica Hadari came and joined us, adorned like a queen. She showed up from the
mm.
moment we hit
She did.
record.
Yes, she did.
That episode, there was something very satisfying for me
Mhm.
about that and bringing other women in on that conversation because I think it's very complicated. And as we record this, the royal family,
Oh
in the
boy.
UK is all having all kinds of trauma and drama and
Yeah,
illness.
being a queen isn't all it's cracked up to be. It's not in what the fairy tales look like, at least right now in the UK.
Absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
to me, the queen archetype is really about leadership.
There you go.
And leadership is messy. Leadership can be
Mhm.
ugly. Leadership can be cutthroat. You can have your own
Mhm.
throat cut. On the way over here, I was
Mm.
listening to an episode about Anne Boleyn, who was
Mm.
beheaded, and the woman who was talking about it, she does channeling and all kinds of interesting woo-woo things that I'm very much into. But she was saying, if this resonates with you, it's because you probably have some kind of template for yourself. And it was the first time I realized, oh, I need to look into, like, do I have some past life thing with
Mm.
queendom? Like, why do I have all this unfinished business? But it was really fun to process. In the modern time, I guess I was 50 when we recorded that, my 50-year-old self talking about what it is to be a queen now and that leadership in my life, in my
Yeah.
business, in my family, in my friend group, things I'm doing at school. Who am I as a leader?
Mhm.
What does that look like and how it can look so unique for each of us?
Mm.
And we call it something different. Like for you, you don't resonate with queen.
Mhm.
You've got a
Mhm.
different word for it. And so
Mhm.
I loved digging into that publicly and
Yes.
having that be a bigger conversation.
I think it's so important and also to also acknowledge that here in the United States, we have never had a female president. I mean,
Mm,
we finally have our first vice president, but in all of our years, we as like the ultimate leader, we're not quite there. We don't quite have that. So I think that's a really important thing for us to feel in our own lives,
mm,
right? That we can feel that, and for so many people who don't often get to see that demonstrated for themselves, how do we cultivate that in our own spaces and our own lives? And that, like you said, it's complicated. It can be messy, to
right.
be the leader of your own life. But I think that's so, so important. It was a really interesting episode. I thought we went to a lot of different places with Jessica, and I loved it. That was a
Mm,
great episode.
yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
go back and check it out if you're at all curious about that.
Yes. All right. So for my third and final one, it truly is the ultimate highlight of our season 4, which was our love notes to ourselves. And it was just last week's episode. And if you haven't had a chance, I highly recommend it because we are writing to our younger selves. We didn't decide which era we would write to, and we both landed on the early 20s, a very, very tumultuous time in most people's lives, full of transition, full of identity questioning. And I just found that so healing, so interesting. I think that you girlfriends listening to it will be able to really identify with a lot of the things that Flachet and I both brought up in our letters. And just the personal feeling of reaching back through the decades to really talk to that young girl and to really give her some sage advice and wisdom felt so good. I just really loved that episode so much. So talking to our younger selves really was the cherry on top of
Was
season
the
4
cherry
for
on top.
me.
So
Yeah.
this was actually my number one favorite too. So,
Yeah.
so it was, and ever since doing it, I feel healed. Not,
Mm.
like there were so many things that I touched on, things that I even are playing out right now in my life again.
Mm.
And I'm just able to zoom in on, oh, it's just happening again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready to let that go. What do I need to do to let that go? And so I've been doing that work. It's been so profound. And so I'm so curious to know how other girlfriends are resonating with that. Have you done this work for yourself? Are you looking at an older version of yourself, sometime
Mhm.
when you were sad or down or
Mhm.
heartbroken or
Mhm.
adrift in your own life?
Mhm.
Because it's a very powerful practice.
Right. And what would you tell that part of yourself, that era of yourself? You said something really beautiful in the episode, which is that we all have these different, stages of ourselves and they all make up who we are today. So
Mm.
we really can go back and kind of speak to that chapter of ourself. And I know that sounds a little strange, but those all make up ourselves. And even if they were hard, even if they left some scars, it's kind of like the wrinkles on our body, right? That all of those symbolize a different time and that we can still kind of tend to that and process it. And I think that's what it is. Like having a rich life allows us to do that. And one funny thing I thought that was cute was that as we're reading these letters off, neither of us mentioned that, oh, and you're going to have a thing called a podcast one day. And it's that no one has them right now, but believe me, they're going to become very popular later in your life.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Actually, I think I did in mine. I did say that I was going to write a book and start a podcast, but I realized
But we didn't know what that
my
meant.
25-year-old self would be like,
Podcast?
whatever. I'm
What
getting into some
did
weird
she
stuff.
launch to space in a pod? What? What does that mean? But that's okay. A little mystery is good.
A little mystery is good. I think another thing that we can do around this too is to find a picture of ourselves from that time. And to even have that out and write to really like look into her
Oh,
eyes and
wow.
write to that. On my desk, I've got a photo of myself when I was 4, which was a
Hmm.
very unfortunate time in my life, unfortunately. And also a picture of myself when I'm like 8. And I
Oh.
just have them in a frame and I'm always like sending them good intentions and thinking about them because trying to heal that part of myself too. So I realized there's a photo of myself out in my home of me around the age of 25. And so I actually need to move that over to my desk too, so I can be looking at her because this does feel like really important work.
Mm.
And granted, it's springtime as we record this, and I was just saying to Jessica, I feel amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think that part of that lifted feeling in my heart is
Mhm.
because I just also did this big excavation.
Absolutely. I already told a group of girlfriends who I went away with to a little spa retreat, which was delightful, about the exercise, just planting the seeds for people. So I just can't say enough about doing the exercise for yourself. And we just journaled, we just like wrote it on down. Doesn't have to be any big ordeal, but it really, really felt good. It really
Mhm.
did. Really, really wonderful exercise. I love that we both had the same
We had the
seeds.
same number 1. I love it.
Well, we are already planning our season 5. Also, we want to send an invitation out to you, girlfriends. Is there something that we have not covered that you really would like us to? What was a highlight for you that you would like us to revisit? What guest are you, itching for us to interview? We are totally excited about doing those things and we want your input. So reach out to us in our Substack community. Let us know what you want to hear for season 5 because we are in the works planning it right now. And I know we already both have some big ideas for it.
Yeah, we definitely do. So if you got some entertainment or had some fun here with us, please click the like button,
Yeah.
share it with a girlfriend who also needs to hear this message. Follow us for more information, for more support and encouragement, and join us over on our Substack. So it's girlfriends.substack.com. And we are so excited about season 5, y'all.
Season
So grown
5,
up.
y'all. Oh, and I know I said this, but I'm just gonna keep tooting the horn that we are really gaining popularity on Apple. And so
Right.
if you could subscribe and just rate us on Apple, that would be such a gift to us. We would just love that. It's just a way for us to get out there and reach more girlfriends of all ages, frankly. So thank you in advance. And on that note, I think we're signing off.
We're going to take a little break and we'll see you in season 5.
Bye.
Bye.